And the I talked about the different levels. The low intelligence and low ambition psychopath ends up, in drugs and crime, and they'll be seen on the latest episode of Cops, and, and the middle intelligence.
I've seen that guy. I saw him.
Yeah,
they had to shackle his ankles and his wrists because he just wouldn't stop trying to kick out the window of the cop car.
That's right. Somewhere along the line, that guy got hurt, and he went down that path. And the middle intelligence and middle ambition psychopath, they'll seek power wherever they can get it, and that could be the DMV clerk, the gym teacher, cop, something of some minor importance, and they'll lord over their power to so that they are the tough guy, the top guy. And again, they love collectivist systems because they love being in a system where they can't get fired for their behavior, or
not held accountable.
Seniority. Yeah, there's no accountability. People
Sure.
have to deal with them. They have to go through them, and they love it. And then the high ambition, the high intelligence psychopaths, they go to these 3 power centers, and I talked about this in The Greatest Truth Never Told, because to me there's 4 different kinds of power, but 3 of which are most obvious to people. There's political power, which is obviously in Washington, D.C. So if somebody wants to, of a high ambition, high intelligence, wants to seek the highest level of political power, they would naturally gravitate towards Washington, D.C. And it doesn't mean that they're politicians. It could be lobbyists. It could be bureaucracies. It could be, a myriad of millions of jobs in the Washington thing. And if you look at it, their whole purpose and their whole existence is to regulate and control others. I mean, just January 1st, there was 40,000 new laws designed to regulate and control some part of our lives.
Yeah,
these were created by political psychopaths in Washington, D.C. Another level is financial control. So you have political power, you have financial power, and that's naturally found in New York City, which is where I was from, where you are, and you have these guys who, if their main motivation is money, that they naturally gravitate towards that. And I watched very smart, well-meaning people go into the finance business, and you just see their souls being sold every day because they're doing something that they know is inherently wrong, but they, either think that it's right or they try to justify it or stuff like that. But at the end of the day, they're I've known bond traders and all this other stuff. They're enslaving people. They're feeding the fuel to a paradigm that sole purpose is to spread debt and death upon humanity. And until people start seeing what their actions are actually doing and supporting, and take away their walk away from it and no longer participate and be part of it, the system will continue to spread and grow until it kills us all. And then the final power is the social power, and this is a more broader topic. That used to be just religions. That used to be the social power, and the religions and they've lost a lot of their luster, but it's been replaced by Hollywood and the media and more recently social media and computer companies and all that other stuff. There's a lot of power there. So for the third, power, you have that social power. People would naturally gravitate towards Hollywood or Silicon Valley or Madison Avenue in New York. And that could be anywhere from the narcissist starlet, who wants everybody to love her for being beautiful, to the Ari Emanuels who want to go out and dominate other people, like what was it, Ari Gold on Entourage.
Right.
These 3 powers give rise to the final power, which most people don't realize is out there, which is an absolute power. And these are the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers and the Queen of England's and, the Putins. These are the big power players that, really call the shots around what's going on in the world. And, they use those other 3 powers to, run the world. And if I think it helps people to see in their own personal level, they see psychopaths in their own lives. Well, where do you think these people go after they've burned through all their friends and family? They go to these power centers and they rise to power. Mm-hmm. And when we see that, the guys that own and control our paradigm have this nature, wow, it kind of makes you, take a step back and saying, well, what am I doing? Am I supporting these guys somehow?
Yeah. So how do you avoid them in your day-to-day life? Really? Well,
I talk about the first and most important thing is identifying them. For the most part, most of the people that have, these characteristics like, lack of empathy, shallow emotions, transitory short-term relationships, lying, manipulation, they're just hurt souls, and they're really not a direct threat to you. They really hurt themselves more than anything else. Right. But it's the criminal, smart, manipulative, guys that have all these traits that have power are the ones to be aware of. And for the most part, you either have a choice. You got the run or fight, or flight or fight. And my own personal experience fighting with them is not really an option, because they fight. They love fighting. They actually get energized from it.
They get power from it. Sure.
Yeah. They enjoy seeing people getting passionate, because it's almost comical to them that other people would have so much emotion, because they don't feel any themselves. They actually view themselves as a distance. So fighting with them really doesn't make any sense. What they do fear is the greater psychopath. So, if you're dealing with a minor one, you can present yourself as a bigger one, but that's really not even an option. But the other thing I think that they fear a lot is being exposed. Right. Directly confronting them is tough, because no matter what evidence you have, they lie so much and so easily that you would need so much evidence to corner them and to get it right and stuff like that. So really the best way of confronting them is to the threat of exposing them. Show them that what you have on them, and say, listen, either this stops or you go away. And chances are they'll go away, because they don't want to be exposed, because the psychopath cannot, by its nature, live by itself. It's a parasite. It's a social predator. They're not the ones that are going to go out and work hard and create stuff and work well with others and do all the things that it takes to create wealth in the world. They need to manipulate and thrive off of other people to work for them. Mm-hmm. But the best overall thing is just to shun them. I don't think people realize the power of the shun. Yeah. If you see them, if you get a nasty email, delete it. If you get a nasty phone call, delete it. If you run into them and they start going crazy, don't say a word to them. Just turn your back and walk away, because it's the only way I found that's effective, because they love fighting and they'll never seek help. They always think they're right. They'll create as many justifications in their head on why you're wrong and why you don't see things their way. So the best thing to do is to shun them.
All right. And on that note, not to shun you, but I totally agree with you that avoidance with sociopaths, psychopaths is the best policy. And if you can avoid marrying them, that's a good thing too. And basically
working for them, and it's just be aware and prepared. That's that overall theme for the Don't Tread on Me site. Be aware and prepared.
And then if you can work for yourself and you're not a sociopath, then you're that much further ahead, right?
Yep. Surround yourself with good people. That's
the key, and that's what we try to do here on the Financial Survival Network. So we got your link to don't-tread-on.me and the Sons of Liberty Academy. And
Greatest Truth Never Told.
Yeah. Keep up the great work, Chris.
Thank you.
We'll talk to you next week.
All right. Take care.
Be well.